All right, so let's take a look at the following problems. Let's simplify these expressions. So I've got 5 times 5 is 25, plus 5 times 12 is 60. 60 plus 25 is 85. And alternatively, we could go 5 times 17, which is 85. So what I notice here is 85 equals 85. So if 85 equals 85, then also can I say 5 times 5 plus 5 times 12 equals 5 times 17? So let's write that down. 5 times 5 plus 5 times 12 equals 5 times 17. And what do we notice about these? What do we notice about 5 and 12? Well, what I notice is 5 plus 12 equals 17. So couldn't I also say 5 times 5 plus 12 equals 5 times 17? Isn't that true? And isn't all I'm doing here is saying, well, if I multiply 5 by both terms within the parentheses, it's the exact same thing as this line up here, 5 times 5 plus 5 times 12. So let's think about another one. Think about with the subtraction, 4 times 13, that's 42, minus 4 times 10, that's 40. So 42 minus 40 is, that's 52. 52 minus 40 is 12. And then 4 times 3 is also 12. So the same sort of logic applies, right? 12 equals 12. So then I can also say 4 times 13 minus 4 times 10 equals 4 times 3. And 13 minus 10, that's the same as 13 minus 10, right? So if these things are all equal to each other, isn't just 4 times 13 minus 4 times 10 the same as 4 times 3 here? Yeah, we call this the distributive property. And it's easier to see when we know all the numbers, but it's not as easy. It works a little bit more once we have some variables. So let's check out some of these. So the way it's going to work is when multiplying by parentheses, you multiply by every term inside the parentheses. For example, when we have this one here, this is a division problem, but it still works. I can say 1/3 of 9 plus 6, right? So I can say 1/3 of 9 and 1/3 of 6. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2, right? That's the same thing as 15 divided by 3, 5 and 5. So let's take a look at some of these other ones. This is a little bit clearer of an example. If I go 3 times 4 and 3 times 2, I can say 3 times 4 is 12, 3 times 2 is 6, so that's 18. Same thing here. I can say 3 times x, that's 3x, and 3 times 2 is 6. That's as far as we can go with that. Let's check out this last one too. Negative 4 times 2p, that's negative 8p. And then negative 4 times 6 would be negative 24. So all we're doing is I'm taking my multiplier here. My multiplier is negative 4. And if I'm multiplying it by a parentheses, I have to multiply it by every term inside the parenthesis. So let's use it to solve some problems here. Let's look at this next one here. So I've got 3 times x and 3 times 9. So 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 9 is 27. And that equals 33. So we're going to subtract 27 on both sides. That cancels out, and we're left with 3x equals 33 minus 27 is 6. Then divide both sides by 3, and we get x equals 2. Let's try it again with another one. Let's try it with this next one. So if I multiply, I've got negative 5 times 2x plus 3, right? So if I'm going to multiply that, I've got to multiply it by both terms, right? Negative 5 times 2x and negative 5 times 3. So negative 5 times 2x, 5 times 2 is 10. So negative 5 times 2 is going to be negative 10. We're talking about x, so negative 10x. And then 5 times 3 is 15. So negative 5 times 3 would be negative 15. And that equals negative 115. So now I'm going to get rid of this negative 15. So the opposite of negative 15 is going to be positive 15. So I'm going to add 15 to both sides. That cancels, and I'm left with negative 10x equals, if I owe you $115, I pay you back 15. I still owe you 100. So negative 115 plus 15 is negative 100. Then we're going to divide both sides by negative 10. And we get x equals 10. Because 100 divided by 10 is 10, and a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So take a minute and see if you can do this last one. I would pause the video and see if you can do this last problem here all on your own. So if you've given it a shot, let's see how you did. So for me, I'm going to rewrite it because I see this minus 2, and I want to remind myself that that's a negative 2. So I'm going to say negative 10 times x plus negative 2 equals 30. So then I'm going to distribute, and I'm going to say, okay, well, negative 10 times x and negative 10 times negative 2. Negative 10 times x, that's easy, and negative 10x. 10 times 2 is 20, and a negative times a negative is a positive. So that's a positive 20 equals 30. Then we're going to subtract 20 from both sides. 20 minus 20 cancels, and I'm left with negative 10x again, same as last time. 30 minus 20 is 10. Divide both sides by negative 10. And we get x equals 10 divided by 10 is 1, so 10 divided by negative 10 is going to be negative 1. That's our final answer. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to work on these practice problems here. There's a couple of tricky ones. I'm expecting you to struggle maybe a little with this 3, 5, and 6, because all of these involve combining like terms after you distribute. So that would look something like this if I was to do number 11, get you started. No, let's do, 11, that's fine. So 11 times negative 9 is negative 99x, and 11 times negative 14, it's going to be negative 154 plus 6 equals negative 544. So for this one, I've got to combine these like terms before I can start moving stuff around. So I've got to say negative 154 plus 6, that's negative 99x plus negative 148 equals negative 544. And the rest you can complete on your own. So give these problems a shot. Make sure you're checking your answers here. All the answers are there for you to check. Make sure you check them before you turn them in. And if you're having any trouble, make sure you get with me during class and we can go through anything you need.